Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Bell to Bell with Bobby Blaze. I am your host, Professor Jeremy Vilmur, and I'm recovering from my booster shot, so forgive me if my voice comes and goes. Joining us now, the always chipper and upbeat, Arn Anderson's favorite enhancement talent, Double B, Bobby Blaze. What's happening, Bobby?
Seasons effing greetings. That's what's happening, man. Seasons effing greetings, you know. Holidays are upon us, as everyone knows. So, Merry New Year and Happy Christmas to you and all yours and anything else that you celebrate, you know. As a wrestling fan or a fan of this podcast, we appreciate you tuning in. Mm-hmm. The season's greetings, just real briefly. Man, when I was younger and I was little, about second, third grade and stuff, my grandmother would send, a card to us. And it say season's greetings, and that's when I first became aware. I was, just a young kid, and I said, well, people say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and what the hell is season's greetings? And my mom was like, it's like Happy Holidays or whatever. And I was like, well, I don't like it. So at a young age, I started hating season's greetings. I do get it though, and I say that because I truly mean it. Season's greetings to everyone, of course. But also I have that little ebook out there that's available on Amazon. It's just a little $2.99 download. Amazon sets the price on that. That's the lowest I can sell it for because of the length and the way it's set up. That's just the way the deal works. But it's a fun little Christmas story about my best Christmas ever, about my brother and my cousin and one of my aunts taking us to from Ashland and Paintsville area here in Kentucky to the big city of Baltimore, Maryland for a Christmas shopping spree that just turns out to be really fun, humorous little story. And the reason I bring it up, Jeremy, I know you shouted them out last week. I'm going to shout out to Cow Dog, I guess. Yeah, that took me by surprise. And I'm going to shout out to Rob and Slim because I was on their show this past Wednesday. It'll be available on YouTube. Just go and look at it. I actually caught your version, by the way, when you was on the episode, version. We have been guests on that show throughout the last 3 or 4 years now. And they've been really good to us, and I guess they're winding things down. But they do, 2 shows a week, I guess, for like 4-hour shows.
Yeah, way more than I could ever contemplate doing.
Yeah, a lot. And they've been hard at it for, I think they said 7 years. So, Rob and Slim, if you're tuning in this week, thanks for all the guests you've had and also the appearances that you've let the professor and myself come on. And I think you said it last week. You've got that half an hour spot, and you might follow a porn actress or an actor from the 70s or a TV reporter, or it could be they had sex operators on it, phone operators.
Literally anybody could be on there. Yeah, I know that Geekish Cast and them have had a lot of the same guests at different points.
Cool,
but they definitely had Geekish Cast was all comics, movies, TV.
Yeah.
But see, they go outside of that. It's just a really interesting and wide field of people they would talk to.
Yeah.
And it's, now that I have warmed up to them, because again, I had a shitty impression of them at first that I was wrong about. I'm sad to see them go.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
The one segment I was on, this has been a couple years back, you know how you sometimes call in and you can get through sooner and you're actually listening to the other person talk. You're muted, but you can hear it still. Hear the podcast, And man, it was a chick that was she's like close to my age, but she was a cheerleader in Fast Time at Ridgemont High. and she'd only done like 2 movies, and that was one of them when she's like 16 years old, and just a young girl, and tried out to get a cheerleading spot and it wasn't a big role or anything, but she's in a, if you watch it, know where to watch out. How cool is that? I've seen that movie so many times, but I'm just listening to this chick tell her story, and I think she's in LA real estate and stuff now, and then she was in another movie, but it's just, you get a person like that, and you're like, damn, that's pretty cool, man, her little claim to fame there, But anyway, Rob and Slim, best of luck to you guys. I appreciate it. Jeremy, also, I got to give a shout out to Aaron Snyder at the Daily Independent, the hometown paper here in Ashland, Kentucky. He came over and did some interviews, and they had a photographer with them. Aaron, first-class reporter on local sports scene around here. Brock's Boulder made the connection. Hey, we've been over here for 1 year. You want to do a follow-up story on, how well the school's doing? And they did. They said the article will be out before Christmas, and so they did a thing on the FTC, Art of Grappling School, and lo and behold, yesterday, on the front page, let me tell you, that's the article made the front page of the Ashland Daily, the Daily Independent now, but big color photos, Jeremy. Yes, I'm on one of those photos, sitting there watching someone execute a slam, but the big picture, man, that will catch your eye, because I'm like the second picture down, and I'm right on the fold. So you can see me sitting on a turnbuckle, just observing, 2 students working. But there is the show pony, Reese Ramon. Dude, she's up in the air, and she does this thing where she does a split, okay? And she's got the opponent, she's dropping her leg right across the back of the head, kind of like the Booker T's axe kick,
Oh, yeah.
But when she does this, she picks her leg up over her head, puts it on the opponent's back, and drops down with them and lands in a split. It's very unique. But the person that took the picture, the photographer, I don't know his name, it's in the papers in my car, actually. But it's a really good shot because it looks so athletic, And it's a really nice article. They got her names wrong. I found out a couple of things about myself this week, Jeremy. I don't know if you caught my name on the on Cornette's podcast. Virgil, I guess, the meat sauce king, the breadstick man, So I guess he's got this Instagram page, and he's just talking all kinds of smack to Cornette. But last week, he claimed to have trained Bobby Blaze, and Cornette said, Bobby Blaze, he's family. Well, that made me pop right there, but apparently he went down through a list of like 4 people from Kentucky that had been wrestlers, and claimed to train them. Cornette knew the other, I can't think of the other 3, but one of them was a lady that worked years ago and passed away. I mean, way back when, So so I realize now I've been trained by Virgil. I told the students at the Art of Grappling the other day, I'm sorry to deceive them, that I've been telling them, Professor Boris Malenko and Dean Malenko trained me, but all this time it's been Virgil. Old Mike Jones, from Pittsburgh, but that's the way it goes. And also in the article, even though you got my name right in the article, each of the pictures, I'm now Billy Blaze. So I've been telling everyone for a year I'm Bobby Blaze, but I'm Billy Blaze, and I've been trained by Virgil or Vincent,
Man,
so there's my claim.
You are getting a new intro on the show starting next year. I can tell you that right now. Oh, yeah. My goodness.
Virgil's, best, maybe worst student training, I don't know. But, and Billy, the funny thing is, the people that's messed my name up in the past, it's Billy. I did this little thing with Ernest Miller on TV, and I'd already did a TV show, or a show with him, and Pez Wally told him, just follow Bobby. That's what he's here for, and Ernest was a karate guy and this and that, but he's like, all right, Billy Blaze. He got in the ring the second time, and he said, Billy Blaze, when I turn around, you better be gone, or I'm gonna throw some karate on you or something. But then I've had people in the street say, I know you're that Billy Blaze guy. I'm like, yeah, So why they go to that one? I mean, it's obvious because of the B, I guess, but I guess they're about to get that legally changed or whatever. But all right, so I'm just going to say this for holiday season too. I got a couple of stories down here as we go on about Christmas chaos, but something that makes me happy, Jeremy, believe it or not, and I spoke to a couple of students last night and a couple of friends of mine. They had Nate Bush's memorial show up there in Harts, Virginia. The local Channel 13, I think WOWK did a little special on it the other day on the news.
Oh, I did see that. Tim linked to that video.
Yeah, Tim put that up there, yeah. So I guess that went off pretty good. But, you know, I knew a couple people involved in that show. And then I had a couple other students I know were working in Tennessee. And so it's just to know what some of these people, you know, I know a couple people went down and worked Ohio Valley Thursday night TV. It's just that does me good to see that I can be a small part of their success. That you know I'm helping the students or helping other professional wrestlers, you know, achieve their goals. And man, that's what keeps me with a fresh look into professional wrestling. And you've got a list up here that's really looking good to me, too, because some of those wishes that, you know, you just want these, as I said here, just so you know, if wishes with horses, beggars would ride. Right. Well, we're not begging, and we're just having a wish list, though. And I just wish continued success to the Art of Grappling School, FTC, and all the students, former and current. Keep staying booked, keep getting your hustle on, man, and just keep improving because, you know, to me, it's just one big long ride. I mean, who would have thought, honestly, I'm sitting here and I'm on the front page of the fucking newspaper, you know, at my age, and Malenka used to say, nothing older than yesterday's newspaper, Bobby, you know. Well, that's kind of true, but it's also a good feeling that, you know, that the paper come out and done something that we feel like we're doing something very proud, and also that it's a couple people sent me texts and stuff. It's good that wrestling seems to be coming back around in this area. You know, I've talked about some of these shows and some of the guests we've had and stuff. You know, it's within a 4-hour radius. I mean, there's a shitload of shows that go on around here, man, and most of them are pretty good shows. I will say that. There's a couple that, you know, you won't find Jock or any of the students working on probably, but but you know, they're sketchy at best. But most of them, man, run pretty good wrestling shows, you know. So I'm proud of that, and I'm happy for the people to get out there and keep living your dream, man.
Oh yeah, and look, there's always going to be a couple questionable places out there.
Oh
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody's got a dream, and people perform to the level they can, and hey, you know, there you go. So, Bobby, you knew one of the Malenkos? Is that what I'm supposed to take from that quote? Is that?
I've heard of him. I think I saw Dean's picture in the front of a magazine, 97 Wrestler of the Year or something.
Shit.
You know, no, I practically lived there. You know, rented a room, and that's just kind of crazy. And whoever's running that account, I guess, now has got Cornette's attention because they're reading off of it about every week something, and it just gets more and more bizarre, the stuff that the guys say.
Don't feed the trolls.
That's pretty much. But here's the thing, from my understanding, they check that it has a blue check mark on Instagram. So I'm not sure what the whole certification is or qualifications are on that. But it's kind of one of those things. Is what they said the other day. Now I can't remember when I listened to it the other day. Some of the stuff that he was saying, but it's almost like they said it's like the Sheik. Virgil's probably not doing this. Maybe he'll say something, and then someone, publicity-wise, is putting this out there. Someone's behind the voice. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's what this account on Instagram apparently has turned into. Is just kind of like a parody, but it's it has got verification on it.
But it's somewhat official.
Yeah. So I don't know, but anyway, I know you got a top 5 wish list for pro wrestling just coming up, and we got some other things we can talk about, but you just let me know when you want me to talk about Christmas chaos, and in the meantime, won't you lead us off with like
Sure.
one of your Christmas wishes and we'll just kind of talk about those. I think this is pretty awesome what you put up there.
Yeah. What's funny is like you're doing you being called Billy Blaze in the paper, in the photography. I was trying to decide the other day if you had gone to work for Vince McMahon in the 90s, what your name and gimmick would have been, because there's no way in hell he would have left you as Bobby Blaze.
No.
And
well, the TV jobs were Bobby Smedley, and as Bobby Heenan said, how would you like to go through life with that moniker? So you ham and egger,
So I was trying to decide, and I was thinking you'd be a Billy something, but I never got to what the last part was. But I decided to have something to do with fire, and you'd be some kind of like furnace worker or something.
Okay.
Like a stationary engineer or something.
Oh, man.
Okay. So last night when I was still trying to decide on a theme for the show, I kind of hit upon this idea of my top 5 Christmas wishes for wrestling next year. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to go read down this list here and see what we end up with, and you can comment on it as you like.
Okay.
So my number 5, and this is actually going to be reverse order from what's listed on the page here, so bear with me. I hope that the NWA hits a lucky streak and really grows in popularity this coming year.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that's my number 1 hope. Because, I've been talking to a couple people with ROH closing, where do the Briscoes go? And their natural place to go would be the NWA. I mean, when you really think about their style and their look and everything, they'd be a perfect fit for the NWA. But the NWA probably can't afford the Briscoes.
I've seen them cut some promos this week, man. They're hot right now. They're hot, man. I guess, I'm not sure, but I would love. I do know this February, the weekend of the 12th, if I'm not mistaken. That's when it could be the 11th, 12th, 13th. I'm not sure how long to do, but they're going back into Atlanta and doing TV tapings again. So I know they done these 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, and I guess they done 8 or 10 weeks out of it. So if I'm not mistaken, they're doing another set in February the 12th, that weekend of 12th. So. What about the? You don't think the Briscoes will go to AEW?
I just
I'm just saying before February 12th, if there was a chance they go to NWA.
Honestly, just us talking, and not worrying about the political correctness police or the anti-political. Right. I think they're fucking they leaned on the Confederate flag so hard for so long. I think they're a hard fit for AEW.
Okay.
AEW is a little younger crowd, a little more woke, and you'd have a bunch of shit showing up with them with that Confederate flag. I just don't see them as a great fit is the problem. I think, not that it's problematic, but look, I won't even own a Leonard Skinner t-shirt anymore because of the Confederate flag.
Yeah. Well, what about a program FTR that they're called each other out? Is that going to be a thing where Tony Khan or AEW says, look, go take this match wherever? Or does he say, well, let's bring them in for one night? Or, you're saying they're not a good fit and they signed a multi-year contract. I don't know. I'm just saying. I can see him working NWA, but no disrespecting when NWA, who's going to keep up them boys?
Well, that's just it. They could be like a super. Look, NWA is pushing their tag team division right now. Nick Aldis just reteamed with Doug Williams. They've got they got 2 luchadors who are their tag champs right now. They got a couple other things going on. Is it Hawks Airy? It's the father-son tag team. And both like legit wrestlers. So they've got some legit tag team action going. And I just, but you're right. Like, I think you throw them in there, and then you've got like the number 1 tag team. You can always push them. And I don't think in the NWA, I don't think the history of having the Confederate flag hanging around you so much would be an issue.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
And I don't want to push it that too hard. It's just one of those things that, like, to me, just coming at it from like a corporate standpoint, I could see where somebody would be like, Yeah. Can
kind of one of those things that something happens 20 years ago, it comes back and bites you on the ass. But that's just what their gimmick is, was or is, and you have to wonder, that I don't know, man, how big of an issue that would be, But like you said, it may be because we're there on a grander scale, and like you said, more woke people. Some people probably out there wouldn't like them. And the thing about them is they look like grown ass men that can whip people's ass because they can, And I think that was the hard sell to the WWE, from my understanding, after their tryouts was they're not fit for those cameras.
Oh no, I can see that.
That's just not the appeal that.
But again, look, Trevor Murdoch is the NWA World Champion. And I fuck imagine the shit that Vince McMahon said about him. Like as far as like camera time and this, that, and the other. I just think like the Briscoes, I think would be a great fit for the NWA if the NWA could bring their game, up to the level.
Well, more back to your NWA hitting a lucky streak. I think, as you and I was following it, and I know a few of our fans were as well, I think you would went over to watch it with your brother, and I was at 6:05 on Tuesday when it was coming on YouTube at the time. I was really looking forward to that time, and prior to that COVID coming, it was just one of those things. I think they were really gaining a lot of momentum, So what we need now is they've done these tapings 2 weeks ago or so, and the pay-per-view. Again, I'm sure they've got other stuff, maybe some house shows or maybe not. I don't know. I shouldn't say I'm sure of. I do know that they're doing that. They do have more tapings coming up after the new year. Maybe they can get that momentum going to make that lucky streak happen, if things keep going good.
Well, they got a new YouTube show coming up, which I think, it's going to make it easier for people to watch. And that can only help,
Yeah.
And I also like this idea that they're going to start segmenting out the titles, like this show on YouTube. The national title is going to be the big title. That's going to be like your overall show goal. I just hope they get a better looking belt. Jesus Christ. But you know what? That's for a different time. Let's move on to my number 4.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, number 4. I hope that ROH, I wish, I guess, that ROH weathers the storm and becomes a strong third place company. I'd like to see them get back on their feet, figure out where they're headed, get their roster under control, and then outpace TNA and whoever else is hanging around. And I guess GCW these days, outpace everybody else and become a strong, viable third party. In this whole thing.
Okay.
They've always been great at picking indie darlings and this, that, and the other. And look, they fed NXT for 5 or 6 years.
Oh, yeah.
And Sinclair, the broadcast company that owns them, they're going to start making some shit ton of money in advertising in the next couple of years here because we're going into the 2022 elections. They're a decidedly conservative company, and they're running there's a Democratic president and Congress. And they're going to be raking in cash from these conservative groups and everything else. This is the time to do it, guys. This is the time if you really want to support your wrestling company, start looking at some of that advertising revenue and figure out where you can put it.
What's the plan right now? Is that going to be like March or April? Was that their start up again?
Yeah, I think
laid everyone off till April.
I think it was March, and I think what they're planning on doing is coming back without contracts, which. I'd like to see that, but the problem is it doesn't work if you're the only guy doing it. If you're the only guy not signing long-term contracts with people, then all you're doing is kind of putting yourself in a position where your world champion gets signed by somebody else.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Well, if the payoff's worth it and you are an independent contractor, it would be a nightly deal, I guess, or a weekly deal, or however they would do it. It wouldn't necessarily be, a one-year contractor per se. But it makes me wonder if they don't have at least add some kind of a 90-day clause in there, like most of them have, like when you finish up with WWE.
Sure, like a no-compete or something.
Yeah, no-compete. Yeah, so I'm wondering if you do one of those, situational here. Say you go on Ring of Honor, and you've got that, say, weekend of bookings, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or maybe they do a full, week of bookings, however they do it. You're on there. Some of it's going to be on tape, obviously, and then you show up at AEW or WWE, SmackDown, or wherever, just saying. You got one tape of you out there airing, and since you didn't sign a contract, there you are working for another company. Could be within the same week,
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's just dark matches or house shows, that would be good because you're getting a lot of work. But I don't see how that works to Ring of Honor's advantage. If you're showcasing them on your program, then the very next night or next week they're on another program.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna reflect this back towards indie guys, and probably use Jock Sampson as an example. But I kind of like this thing that AEW, ROH, NWA, and all these guys have going, where somebody can kind of go and work here and work there.
Yeah.
Like Mickey James shows up on the NWA with the TNA, not TNA, what do they call it? Impact Women's title now.
Mm-hmm.
This idea of guys being able to work different places and have, say, like you had a guy like Jock who's carrying 3 or 4 belts around from different companies right now, right? It looks kind of legit. Like you go and work at different promotions and you're the best at 3 of them.
Yeah.
And you figure it's, say like a guy shows up to an AEW match. He's not a regular guy there, but he's been pulled in for something, and he's got title belts from 2 other places with him. It just makes a guy seem a little more legit. And I kind of like this idea of people not being stuck in one place,
Yeah.
It's just like a pro boxing. We consider the heavyweight champion to be like the top dog when he's got 3 fucking world title belts,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess what I was thinking back on something was, wasn't it Rick Rude that was on like back-to-back shows on one night on Raw?
He was
like the very next night.
He was taped. He was taped appearance on Raw at the same time he was live on WCW. Yeah,
I was just going back to that moment. I guess that's what I was kind of getting at, because I remember another incident where Road Dogg, he was doing some TV for Atlanta and Brian James, and the next thing you know, he was in New York, and those tapes that was worldwide tapings, it had like him and Arn on a Saturday morning or a Sunday afternoon, whatever it was, when they had already taped that, and he was already coming out in New York at that time with the different gimmick. I thought, oh, how cool is that, man? Because he was just, Brian James on working with Arn, putting Arn over in a 3-minute match or whatever it was, but then he's in New York, starting to get a push as the Road Dogg, like that's cool.
Yeah.
But that does happen. And so I can see that happening more, though. Like you're saying, I just don't know if that's to save money over the course of a year or 2, or is it because they just want the guys to be free to wrestle for other companies? Maybe that's part of their agenda. Here you can come in for a week or 2, however long they do their tapings for, or their house shows for, make you a decent payoff, be seen, but you also, look, we're not going to keep you here by contract, so if you want to go to AEW or work for someone else that's not, do what you want to do. Maybe they got enough confidence that their wrestlers will be over and good enough to make the right decisions, that they're not on Ring of Honor getting a strong push, and then next night they're doing a job on Raw. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't know. Just throwing that out there too.
Oh no, look, there's an upside and a downside, but what I'm hoping for, look, there's enough wrestlers are out of work right now that the AEW can't hire everybody that the WWE gets rid of, and there's a lot of talent out there that needs to go somewhere. Some are going to be a good fit for the NWA. Some are going to be a good fit for Impact. Some are going to figure out how to work the indies, just like John Morrison and Cody Rhodes did at one point. But people need another place to go besides just there,
Yeah.
We need a good. I think even Brian over on Jim Cornette's shows has been talking about. There needs to be another alternative to the alternatives now. Now we've got so many goddamn alternatives, but we need some that are well funded. Is really
right. I got you. So that's going to be Ring of Honor, hopefully.
Hopefully. That's my...
Okay, Cow Dog agrees too.
Yes.
So...
She's a big fan of that indie style,
There you go.
Yeah.
Number 3. This one, Lay it on me.
All right. Number 3 is Natalia Markova needs a lot more screen time. I hope to see her more often in more places.
Yeah.
Bobby, I don't normally have a thing for Russian chicks, but this particular one, holy smokes. I don't know what it is.
She is she's one of these people that has a beautiful heart also, as well as being a beautiful person. Mm-hmm. I met her, back in last July, was on a show, and we just hit it off really nice professionally. And personally, just too, we talked about some places that we had been to in Japan, and she had been in England, and where she was living at now is not too far from where I lived at when I lived in Florida. And we just struck up a general, good conversation and corresponded some. And, a couple of weeks ago, I had to travel out of town, so I didn't get to do the whole NWA experience like I wanted to. Mm-hmm. But I did catch her segments, and I was like, man, I was so happy for her. And believe it or not, and I'm not just saying this, just kind of, I'm not the only person, because I know that FTC tried to get a hold of her for the February shows, and that's how we knew they was doing tapings the week we're doing a show, which I'll get to later on. But on that Sunday evening, after you and I tried to tape that one day, believe it or not, her message popped back up to me, DM, like, thank you, I appreciate the encouragement. She's just a really talented athlete, and like I said, she's got a beautiful soul inside of her, man. And I think she deserves, because she works hard. You can tell that by her body, and you see her in the gym all the time. She really smooth in the ring with the movement she does. I was mentioning the show pony doing that big split kick. Natalia does this thing where she puts them in a corner and does this really big swing, nice kick. It's really awesome looking. And I think there's a lot of people that would love to see her get a lot more screen time, and I think she will. I think she's a rising star, man. She caught a break, and I hope she makes the most of it.
Yeah, that's I guess it's really up to her to kind of ride out the wave and not fuck anything up. But look, she's good in the ring. She's real easy on the eyes. Her accent is not undecipherable. She's clear when she speaks. So it's just she's got a lot of the right stuff in the right place. She's not just a pretty face. She is good in the ring.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to see more of her and a more successful her out there.
Yeah. I like that too. I think that I really would like to see that for her, man. That's pretty awesome. That you put that on there.
Yeah. Not only that, she's got a body you could bend iron bars are. So that's,
well, she's a fitness model,
Well, she'd have to
modeling.
be, yeah.
Yeah, she does fitness modeling and wrestling. In fact, she showed me a couple covers there that she had just they ran it together. It was a fitness wrestling magazine, a fitness magazine, but involved her being a wrestler on top of fitness model. It's pretty cool,
Yeah.
To see that, and she just seems like she's a genuine person, down to earth, and works hard to try to do what she's doing, and that's what I was talking about earlier, seeing some of these young people out there living their dream, man. That's what you got to do, is get out there and put your hustle on, and make the most of the body you have, make the most of the looks you have, make the most of the training you have. Those things are all ingredients that make you get a chance, or give you the opportunity to get the chance to get that screen time. At least you got eyes on you. People are seeing you.
Yep.
And a lot of people saw her that weekend, man.
Oh yeah. Well, I think one of the things I'm kind of interested in, and I think you and I, this is probably one of the first conversations we had, was the parallels I can draw between, say, like a working actor, like a guy who has to get out there and take every commercial he can get, an artist who's trying to make a living doing comics and other stuff, just how much hustle and self-promotion that a pro wrestler, just like every other artist and working person, would have to do,
Yeah.
It's with the pro wrestler, it's so much of it becomes personality packaging. Like, you got to lean into your look, your style, everything has to match. You have to be consistent, and you don't fucking go on Twitter and break kayfabe. Okay, got that out of my system.
Yeah, well, I think people do that.
Yeah, well, stop it. Bad wrestler. Don't do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get on to number 2 here. You ready?
Okay.
Number 2. I hope Jay Lethal gets a big ass push in 2022.
I hope he does too. He very much deserves it. A hell of a piece of talent. Got a good look to himself. He can talk. He's got the experience. I don't see any weaknesses in his game, so I don't. I think the only thing that holds Jay Lethal back is Jay Lethal. If he's held back, it's on him. Because and I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to push, balls to the wall and go hard. Let's just see what happens with it.
Oh yeah, look, TNA wasted him for fucking years.
Yeah.
And the one thing I think we can say that we've learned about him just watching him on TV, he's loyal. Wherever he's at, he's 100% at. And I think that burned him at TNA. I don't know if I guess he was world champion and a number of things in ROH, but that just led to him getting fired, basically. Along with everybody else.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping he gets over here and he gets a big push, and I hope he gets all the credit and glory he deserves as a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
'Cause he's a hell of a talent.
He's got some.
In a lot of ways, he reminds me of a young Ric Flair, Bobby.
I can see that during the woo-offs. He's and the thing I was going to say is he is in a position there that he's surrounded by a lot of talented people. So he should be having, and I don't take these matches, people saying someone had a 6-star match. Well, to me, it's 1 through 5, and that's that. But I can see him having some 4, 4.5, and 5-star matches with just about anyone on that roster.
Oh, easily.
Yeah. So that'd be awesome to see him get the opportunity to do that, and I think we will.
Yeah.
And what we're kind of, to me, off your wish list here, it seems to me like that we haven't mentioned a lot of New York stuff or WWE stuff, but it seems to me like we might have some good wrestling to watch in 2022 with Ring of Honor when they come back, with the NWA. Hopefully, like you said, they get on that run. And now here we are talking AEW, something that just a couple years ago we're like, well, a couple guys showed up on this show, and, I can't remember the name of the show now, All In or whatever it was. Like, okay. So now, they're going, like you said, the NWA's got some different YouTube channels coming up. That's another thing. AEW does have some. They're not just on the TV.
They've got some several
they several YouTube channel shows where that talented can be seen. So it's a tremendous opportunity for Jay Lethal, and I think he'll probably make the most of it. I really do. Like you said, he's loyal, and as I said, he's got a look, and he's got a shape and a mind, and can work. So
yeah.
Let's see what happens with the guy, man.
No, I'm looking forward to big things with him. I know, like Kenny Omega and Hangman Page aren't like everybody's cup of tea, but imagine what he could do in the ring with those guys.
Yeah.
I see big things coming, and I hope I'm right. And then my number one hope for 2022 in pro wrestling, Bobby, is I hope to get out to Kentucky and see some FTC wrestling and finally meet you face to face and go check out the Time Warp.
All right. Yeah, go down and see Earl at the Time Warp. We spoke there at the Bluegrass Wrestling Con about getting you over here, and hope you can make it over here, to the tri-state area. You get to see, we're right in the Ashland, Kentucky, Huntington, West Virginia, Ironton, Ohio. We're right there in that tri-state area, and hopefully you'll be in and be able to attend a show, maybe in all 3 states. It just depends on the weekend, I know of several that took place, like I said, this past weekend, as I mentioned earlier. But, get you over here, man. Try not to get you down to the Ashland Inn or the Winchester Inn, not the big new fancy hotel. And I'm talking on the other side of Lower Ashland down there, buddy.
Oh boy.
I had to put Mark Mercedes down there one time, a guy from Australia. He said, I brought you to Australia and put you at the fucking Ritz-Carlton, and you bring me to Ashland and put me right in the middle of crack heaven.
And then you're like, but this is the nicest place in Ashland.
Well, at the time, you know.
You got your own door, man. Not everybody gets that here.
We've got a new place reopened. It was the Delta, I guess. It was Quality Inn at one time, and they've redone it. And anyway, there's enough places we can find for you. But also, let it be known, I do have a futon in the back room.
Oh, you know me and futons, Bobby.
So there you go, man. That is available.
I'm still working on the Jeremy Vilmur exclusive line of futons for for divorcees and college students.
There you go. Run a special on him.
Yeah.
Now I had gotten rid of some furniture and this and that, and friend of mine, like my son was going to be coming in from when he was still in the service, and I was like, unexpectedly, a friend of mine was like, here, let's go get him a futon and put it up for him. You know, you can't expect him to come in here and sleep on the floor or the couch or something. You know, so and then I've got another set of box springs and a mattress back to two. It's just a single. That futon though, it's more like a double, man. You know, you got room for you and Cow Dog.
Oh, there you go. So, that's the important part. You know, I noticed Rob and Slim, they knew who Cow Dog was, and I'm like, what is she like doing her own tour, like doing podcasts and shit right now? Is there something?
I thought someone asked you, had you thought about getting Cow Dog an Instagram page?
That was them.
Was that them? Okay.
Yeah, they were
asking. I wasn't
about
sure.
that.
Yeah.
If she were a little more photogenically friendly, I might, but she just likes to chew on shit right now. So as she ages, I might start doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because, like, look, I was going to buy all new furniture, and then I realized, oh, yeah, she'd eat it, so I better wait a while.
Yeah. I'm going to drop a book plug in here.
Yeah.
I mentioned Seasoned Ethics Greetings is an ebook. I have another ebook called Megan, Hot Wife on a DL. I'm going to leave it up till February. I looked at it the other day. That way it'll be up there for at least a year. That was just getting in a different genre. Didn't sell a lot of them, but again, it was one of those things where I just wanted to try something different with my writing, creative writing, trying to think outside the box. I've got a short story called Yard Time. And that's about, we ran a professional wrestling show out in the prison yard. That's on all those little $2.99 ebooks, but the Yard Time is actually in my second book, which I'll mention in just a second. My first book, if you would like to help support this podcast, use these cool links that the professor has provided. And that is, go to tinyurl.com/blazebook1, and that'll take you to Pin Me, Pay Me, Have Boost Will Travel. And if you look at the tinyurl.com/blazebook2, that'll take you to, I kicked that onto The Educational Wrestler, and both those books are available. I think you can still get them in time for Christmas, either as a gift to yourself or to gift them to someone. They're on print on demand, and they send out pretty quick, rather quickly. So you got a little bit of time left. By the time you hear this, you got about 3 or 4 days before Christmas to get one. But it doesn't have to be Christmas time to get one. Just place your order at tinyurl.com/blazebook1 or tinyurl.com/blazebook2, and check out some of my work there, man. We appreciate it very much. The Yard Time one, the short story, that is in the second book, so it's the chapter 5. The reason I did it that way as a short story is, it's the one again. Amazon sets the price according to the page numbers and the setup of the book, etc. $2.99 is not a bad deal for a good little ebook. But I did it and raised some money so I could pay for the formatting and a conversion of the complete book. And I was, about halfway through it, I thought, man, I need a little bit of money here. It's going to cost me, I think at the time it was like $45 for formatting, about $100. It was like another $55 or something for conversion or what have you. And I knew I had to, I'm like, okay, let me just put this book. I talked to a couple people who helped me at the time that had put some books out, and they said, this is, clean this up a little bit, rewrite it and make it a short story and then sell it independently. And, you probably get $100 or $200 out of it. And I honestly don't know what I've made off of it. It's just, like I said, $2.99. I get like $2 off each copy. But I did enough to pay for some formatting and stuff. And then I just, again, I let people know that is inside the bigger book. If you want, no use to buy them both is what I was getting at. So anyway, Jeremy, I didn't have any big wish list. I just wanted to tell you a couple of stories. I was sitting here thinking we wasn't sure exactly what we were going to do with this week's podcast as far as an idea topic, So we wanted to do something Christmas themed or whatever. And I was like, well, we're going to look at some of the biggest shows on Christmas Day. I looked at my notes. I looked back on some things. We had already done something on Christmas last year that was really big shows. It was pretty intense, And I was, have some fun with this year. And I was thinking, I wrestled on Christmas several years in a row. Christmas Eve, not Christmas Eve, rather, Christmas Day and the 26th and the 27th. That's usually the way, especially in Smoky Mountain. And we had what's called Christmas Chaos Tours, and they a lot of shows still call their Christmas show Christmas Chaos. So some call them seasons beatings or, different things like that.
Yeah.
But when I was in Smoky Mountain, we did the Christmas Chaos Tours, and on the 25th, we did a show in Knoxville, Tennessee. The 26th, we were in Johnson City, Tennessee, and the 27th, we were in Barbersville, Kentucky, and that was a Christmas Chaos Tour of 1995. I know I'm just going to put this out there cold. Do you know who I wrestled on those shows? I had to double think my thinking about this, and I was like, I have an idea, but it's one of two people. Let me check. And anyway,
if I were going to guess, and this is completely cold, I'm not warmed up to this.
Yeah, no.
I would say Buddy Landell or Chris Candido.
Two excellent choices. You wouldn't be too far off on either one of those taking place at that time, but you'd be wrong. And I had it down to two people, and I didn't have Buddy in the picture on that because I had a different time reference with Buddy. But I would not have got the second one until I double-checked myself. I had to wrestle a fucking 3,000-year-old mummy.
Oh, good Lord. Okay.
I had to go out there and wrestle a mummy,
Nothing says Christmas like a mummy.
Exactly. And Daryl Van Horn was his manager, Sinister Minister.
Yeah.
James Mitchell was his manager, yeah. The match is out there somewhere. Someone put it on, I think it's on the YouTube channel from when Tex put it out there maybe, with some commentary. But the guy, the mummy, man, he was a really good dude. Big Rob Masick was his name. Masick, I think, was his last name. Guy from up in the Pittsburgh area. I'd known him. He worked a lot of Bobby Fulton shows, and he wasn't ever the mummy on Bobby shows, but he did a lot of different characters on Bobby shows like I did as well. Bobby had several full body outfits with different masks, and everyone would wrestle, at least twice on the show. You might open a show up and then come back in a main event and a captain's match and different things. But I knew Rob from there, and he had this big old glom, looked like he's rolling toilet paper. It's just a big old thing, and I'd go up and hit him. And when I did, of course, the baby powder or talcum powder or something would poof out, like the dust of the old rags, Mm-hmm. And so it was, it was fun, but it's like, I'm glad to have a job here. And yeah, would I be wrestling Candido and making a more athletic match? Would I be wrestling Buddy and making a really competitive match? And many other people there, but Corny brought him in, and from my understanding, of course, that's because drawing a blank, help me out there, Jeremy. Wanted a mummy on the show because it's a fan from California. Rick, damn it. The guy, the money man. Shit. Drawing a blank.
Okay. Now I'm going to forget it too. It's the music producer.
Yeah. I'm drawing a complete
did all
blank.
the Red Hot Chili Peppers albums.
Yes.
And
Johnny
Cash's
Cash's last album. Yes. Shit, why am I drawing a blank? Anyway, someone at home's yelling it right now.
Yeah, he did Johnny Cash's last 5 albums, I think.
Okay. But anyway, that's why we had the mummy on there. And so, and Corny knows, he had, he knew who to put with who. He just had a way
yeah.
about that, and he knew I wouldn't mind doing it, and he knew I wouldn't mind even putting the guy over, which I didn't, because first of all, the guy's 3,000 years old. He moved rather slow, so I got to do all my athletic moves around him. That worked, and also he had the side distraction of a manager that ran his mouth, so I could be distracted from him, and he had this, I'll say, Bob Orton type cast on one arm, okay? But it was camouflaged with the white, the costume was, white, like I said, it looked like toilet paper with the rags hanging off, etc. But what he would do, he would put his right arm up, and of course I'd be distracted, and he would spin the gimmick on his arm, like a mechanical, turn it around to where it had a hard side, like a cast, if you will. Mm-hmm. And I'd turn around, feed into it, and glom them. And I didn't take like a wrestler's bump on that. I just went like straight down, like almost like you see the old cartoon where, someone gets hits on the head and they go straight to the ground, He would glom me on the top of the head or the side of the head, and I'd just go straight down like a sack of rocks just into the bottom of a well. And then he'd drop down and, pin me 1, 2, or 3 or what have you. But that was our Christmas chaos of that year, 95. And I was like, I better tell her what about that story too. Have you come up with a name yet, Fred?
No, I quit trying because I'm gonna fuck it up now, no matter what. Okay, I gotta look it up. Producer,
better look it up, man.
Red Hot.
He was Tom Petty guy too.
Yeah.
Rick Rubens, damn it, Rick Rubens. Go. I didn't have to look it up. I don't know why I drew a blank on that, but yeah, he apparently, wanted that as part of the show. He wanted a monster on the show, and that's what they came up with. And I guess he had watched, wrestling in L.A. or, when he was young, or even caught some of the luchador stuff where they already had, some kind of a monster down there, just, I don't know where it came from, but, if that's what the boss is suggesting, then, surely you can satisfy, the boss, As far as Rick Rubin goes, I got my W-2s from out on Olympic Drive in Beverly Hills, California each year, but meeting him, I think he came to Johnson City one time, and this guy walking around with Cornette for beard, and I don't think he made himself known, and I don't think the boys, none of us really knew who he was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't think he was there. He was just checking on things, or maybe wanted to see the show. I don't know what he was. I heard he was in Johnson City, but I saw a guy, and I couldn't tell you to this day. I think it was him from what I remember and what I've seen him look like, But as far as I know, he just pretty much, stayed away from the product. And I think I even heard Cornette say he came in and, the boys didn't know he was there, Mm-hmm. But I don't know if he came in for a whole loop or if he just came to the Johnson City show or what have you, But, Rick Rubin, how the fuck I forgot that name. In fact, he was just on Mark Maron, FTW, What the Fuck I Mean, podcast just about a month or two ago. So, fucking genius, man, is what he is. But anyway, that's why if it came from a genius and I had to go out there and do the job, might as well do it at Christmas Chaos, Might
as well.
Yeah. So, and with that said, I do have to say we've got if you come in February, might not be the best year. Last year in February, we had no power for some people several weeks, some people several days out here because we had this bizarre ice storm and the transformers went out. Anyway, this February, the 12th, FTC is going to have a show called My Way. And the Time Warp with them, and it's going to be a big show. They are announcing every week for the next couple of weeks who's going to be on the show about releasing every piece of talent until they're ready to put the whole show together. I just know that I won't go into details, but there's about 6 people from WWE and AEW that you're going to see on there. The names I can tell you right now are Eric Redbeard is going to be there, and what he was with WWE. He was with the gimmick Bray Wyatt for a while, right?
Yeah.
So he's wrestling, and they've released Jordan Grace is going to be there. The bodybuilder, muscle builder girl that looks so thick, and I mean, I saw her the other day on her Twitter. She's bench pressing like 225 five or six times.
I've seen her do some slams and stuff to other female. It's like watching the Steiners when they were doing good, and they were doing those power moves that really nobody else could pull off because they could literally pick somebody up and just put them wherever you want them. And she's like that. A little bit prettier than the Steiners, but yeah.
I saw highlights of her matches. She was in a triple threat match at WrestleCade. And, of course, the people from Time Warp and FTC, several people got to go down and watch her at WrestleCade this year. I saw the highlights, and, man, she was just killing these couple of the girls. And it looked it looked good. It really did. And I'm like, oh, man, I hope they sign her and bring her in. And they are. So that's two names I can tell you off the top of my head. Jock Sampson will be there. He's got to finally defend that FTC title, I guess. They're
giving in. How they're just going to accept him as champion?
Yeah. So also Matt Cross is going to be there.
Dude, that Matt Cross, I should have put that on my wish list too. Number 6. I hope Matt Cross gets a push somewhere this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there you go.
He's legit. He's fun to watch. He pulls off some moves that are just amazing. Good look, sharp style in the ring, but I mean, just the way he moves in the ring is outstanding.
Yeah, very talented, man. Very talented. And so that's some of the names right now that's going to be there. As we come back, I'm sure they'll be releasing the next 2 or 3 weeks every name that's going to be on there. It's going to be a fun show. It's going to be at the Boyd County Community Center. So we usually it's the Ronay Theater. That's not available. So we're coming to the Kentucky side right here in my backyard. And, it's going to be at Boyd County Community Center. It's right off the main highway that runs from West Virginia through Kentucky, I-64 right there. It's not too far from Ironton. It's not too, it's right here in the tri-state area. We're just skipping a state, we're coming from Ohio to Kentucky. So I hope we do really, really good, or the company does. I'm just going to be there watching the show and just be glad to be, part of watching some live action wrestling, Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
I've missed that. But that's going to be the first show I guess I go to, unless, believe it or not, when you and I a couple weeks ago were on here, and I said, who is that calling me? And I said, oh, I know that number. And I don't know if I told you or not. It was Charles Robinson. So I spoke to Charles.
Yeah, you told me. You hadn't told the listeners.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I wasn't sure. I thought we went off there. Yeah, so my phone was ringing several weeks back, right as we had finished up the podcast, and I noticed the number, and I'm like, I like, new number, who dis, But I had an idea who it was because of the area code. And sure enough, it's Charles Robinson, and he was in Charleston. And we were wrapping up about 4 o'clock our time out here, and he said, yes, it's Charles. What'd you do? Delete my number? And I said, no, sir. New phone, like I said. And he goes, are you coming to the show tonight? And I go, are you in Charleston? He goes, yeah, I'm here. I'm like, man. He goes, it's I think it was a 5 o'clock show. And he goes, I got to put my matches together next little bit. And I said, well, you're an hour away. And he said, well, I'm here. And I'm like, well, maybe next time, because honestly, I had 2 people in mind I probably could have called, and they would have swung by and got me, and we could have got there. Will call and got a couple of tickets and went in. But I just didn't make the call to either person. I told them both, I said, would you have done this? And they both like, yeah. But I just, you and I had finished up, and I would have probably had to shower and shave, and, someone would have had to come pick me up. We might have missed, the first 45 minutes or so. Our drive up there, hang out, he's going to be ready to leave the building after the show if he even, sticks around and eats dinner or whatever. So I like, yeah. So with that said, the WWE is coming to, I start to say Ashland, but the tri-state, they're coming to Huntington. Used to be the Huntington Civic Center. Some corporation bought them now. I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, I'm going to try my best. If one of the Armstrongs are there, I'm going to hopefully, I don't think either one of them are working outside of Florida right now. But I'm thinking Charles will be on that Sunday loop because where he comes out of North Carolina, And I'm like, hey, I tell you what, Jeremy, I may go see a WWE event next month. Just telling you.
Oh, wow.
If everything falls into place, I've talked to someone about it, and I'm going to get a hold of Charles.
Make sure the tickets are free.
Well, I'm going to ask. If Charles is going to be there, I'm going to ask politely, can I come in the back? And there's probably not a lot of people I know there anymore because the last time I went, I only knew Dustin and Kane. And a couple others, of course, I knew Scott Armstrong and Charles. I was their guest. So if I can't do that, I've just said, well, I would like to maybe, could you leave me a couple of tickets at will call? So I'm going to work on that, man. I think it'd do me some good to get out and see a good house show.
Oh, I think so too.
But I'm just going to play it by ear right now. I did want to put that out there. I finally heard the commercial last night, actually. Someone had already told me it's coming, but they said they're already playing a commercial on radio, and I heard it last night. So once I heard it, I'm like, I didn't doubt who told me. I was just like, okay, I'm going to throw that out there today, too. So maybe the first show of the year, I'll get to go to a WWE house show. No guarantee on that. And then also, like I said, February 12th, FTC, Boyd County Community Center. Going to be a big, big show to start off the new year, man. And with that, Jeremy, I need to tell all the people out there, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, season's fucking greetings to all of you. So,
yeah.
Hope you get every wish you desire, every gift you desire. And if you believe in Christmas, I hope you have a very, very nice Christmas. I mean that sincerely. So I guess I should have said if you believe in Santa, may you get every wish, however you work, whatever your gimmick is.
Yeah, whatever's going on. Yeah, who are we to judge, Some people believe in Krampus, some in Santa, some in Father Christmas. Who are we to say otherwise?
Yeah, well, I think it's good just to have, the holidays aren't for everyone. Some people hate the holidays. But hopefully you get through the season and you move on. But hopefully if you got a good spirit, hopefully you, again, just get through the damn thing.
That's really the trick, isn't it? That's really the trick.
I think so, man.
Yeah.
I think so. I plan on I ordered me a nice meal for my sons and myself, and hopefully a couple other people may stop by, and I've bought a couple gifts here and there, and I'm already having a good Christmas year, to be honest with you. I've had just one small little setback that you and I spoke about off the air there, but other than that, man, I'm going to try to keep my head up and get through this time.
Well, yeah, and Bobby, remember, penicillin will take care of that little problem anyways.
Now, come on now. I was a little bit more serious than that.
Oh, yeah. No, it's I've got some stuff for my grandson, and I'll see him and his dad over at my mom's probably Wednesday night. So I'm looking forward to that. I know my mom bought a prime rib for dinner Thursday or Friday. I'm not sure which night she's serving it. Other than that, it's going to be me and Cow Dog drinking eggnog.
There you go. I got my granddaughter some gifts, and I ordered a 6-pound ham, and has 2 pounds of potatoes, green beans, cranberry sauce, gravy, stuffing, the whole 2 pounds of all those gimmicks in a pie.
Awesome. That sounds good. Yeah.
So no cooking it. Just put the son of a bitch on the table, and there you go. Eat it.
Well, that's kind of the nice side about a ham is that that's kind of the case anyways. It's, unless you get an uncured one, you're just like, heat that fucker up for 2 hours. We're ready to go. That's the plus to ham. It was the thing I was going to bring up here. It's like Bobby, you know me, I'm a fairly skeptical guy. I don't believe in much. And, I don't know if I've ever told you, but I believe in Bigfoot, which is like this really weird, I can't even make sense of it in my own head. Right.
Okay.
So I'm doing some Christmas shopping the other day on Amazon because it's a godsend for that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
And I see that there is a Dr. Squatch line of soap, right? And I'm not really paying attention, but it's like, oh yeah, it smells like pine needles and a forest fire or some bullshit. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, let's try it out, So it gets here and I'm unpacking stuff and trying to keep, all Killian stuff from one place and, and I look at the invoice and realize I paid $11 fucking for a bar of soap. Fuck Bigfoot. I don't trust that son of a bitch anymore. No wonder he's so goddamn blurry. He's ripping people off all the time. He doesn't want to be seen.
That's right, man. Bigfoot is blurry. That's the old Mitch Hedberg joke,
That's it, yeah.
It's not the photographer. Bigfoot's blurry.
That's it. That is it.
Yeah. So, did you smell like a woolly old mammoth monster or pine needles or what the fuck?
It smells really nice, actually. It really does, but it doesn't smell $11 worth of nice,
I heard that, man.
Yeah, my regular body wash that I get from the Dollar Shave Club every other month, it just shows up here like magic that I never have to worry about. It smells like cedar and mint. It's just as nice, and I think it's $4.
There you go.
Yeah.
I use Lever 2000.
Oh, yeah. Is that the gritty one? Is that like, you got glue on your hands, this will take it off? Okay.
No, it's not. This is just a good mild soap, man. It's something I came on and stuck with it. Like okay, this. I find something, I stay with it, man.
Oh, I'm kind of the same way. I buy deodorant in 10 packs, or 6 packs. I get like 2 of them at a time, so I've got like a year's worth of deodorant every time I buy.
I did the same thing with my deodorant and my aftershave and my shaving cream. I got online on Amazon and I ordered like 4 of each. I'm like, okay, that's good. Yeah.
You know what? I'm actually trying different aftershaves right now because I've worn Stetson since I was old enough to shave. So like since 14.
Okay.
And I'm just like, okay, so what else is there? So I'm actually going to try, I've got some stuff coming. I'm going to try a lotion with a cologne instead of just a scented aftershave. I'm going to try a 2-step thing here. So we're going to see how this works. If I get really bad fucking razor burn coming up, though, we know why.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, let's get off here, man.
Yep.
Merry Christmas, wrestling fans. See you at the matches.
That's it. Season's greetings, everybody. For the late Tex Johnson, myself, Professor Jeremy Vilmur, this noisy little dog who's been playing fucking keep away with me the whole time we've been recording, Cowdog, and myself, Professor Jeremy Vilmur, plus Arn Anderson's favorite enhancement talent, even though he was trained by Virgil, Billy Blaze. Bye-bye, everybody.